Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we are going to learn something about data frames. So a data frame is nothing but it's actually a data structure which is going to be used in pandas, or you could say data manipulation with pandas. And similar to series, a data frame is also a data structure, but the main what you could say difference between a data frame and a series is that a series only has one index, wherein in case of a data frame we have two indexes, that is the row index and a column index. So a data frame is essentially a tabular or spreadsheet like data structure which contains multiple number of rows and multiple number of columns. So you could imagine that a data frame is nothing but it's a tabular structure having multiple rows, multiple columns, and those rows and columns are nothing but it's actually the data which the data frame actually holds. So in this lecture what we will do is that we will learn how we could go ahead and create a brand new data frame. So the first thing which we do is that we create a dictionary sort of structure, and what we do is that we use a data frame method to convert that data structure into a data frame. So let's first go ahead and start creating a data frame. So let's assume that you want to have a data frame which is going to hold some kind of information related to a few people. So what you could do is that you could go ahead and create a dictionary like structure by typing data equals, and then in curly brackets you could go ahead and specify the first characteristic. So let's say if you want to store person's data, you obviously want to store their names. So here in single quotes we will specify the first property as name, and after name just give a colon, and after that in square brackets you start specifying the name of the people which you want in your data structure. So in this case let's assume the first person's name is John, then give a comma. Let's assume the second person's name is Tim, and let's say the third one is nothing but Rob. So once we have these three people over here, let's go ahead and define the other characteristics of these three people. So let's say we also want to add age, so we will jump right out of this square bracket, give a comma to define a new property, and I'm actually going to hit enter over here, and I'm going to start defining the new property from here. You could actually also go ahead and define it over here, but as this structure is going to be much more readable, I'm going to go ahead and type in age over here. And again, as we did with the name, we are again going to specify square brackets over here. And now as we are going to specify integer values, you obviously don't need to specify them in single quotes, so we'll directly specify values, let's say 34, 23 and 42. So once we have these values, let's also specify some other entry into this. So let's say we will also consider the salary. So we'll type in salary, and again in square brackets we will specify the salary as, let's say, 4,500, 2,300 and 5,800. So as you could see, our data structure pretty much looks ready. So now what you simply need to do is that you need to execute this code, and now this data structure is going to be stored into this particular data object. Now in order to convert this data object into an actual data frame, what you could do is that you need to use the data frame method. So in order to use data frame into Python code, first you actually need to go ahead and import the data frame from pandas. So what you could do is that you could type in from pandas import, and here we will type in data, and make sure that you have the D in capitals and F for frames in capitals as well. So data frame, and after importing data frame, what you could do is that you could simply create a frame object, which is the data frame object, and use the data frame method. So you could type in data frame again, and to this method you could simply pass in data over here. So what this actually does is that it's going to take this data structure and convert it into a data frame, and it's actually going to store the data frame into this frame variable. So now if you go ahead and execute this, hopefully everything should work fine. And now once you want to see if this data frame is actually created, you could simply type in frame over here, and when you run this code, as you could see, you get a tabular structure which is nothing but the data frame which you have created. So as you could see, these over here are nothing but the indexes, which is 0, 1 and 2. here we have all the fields related to people, that is name, age and salary, and this is nothing but the data which actually belongs to this particular data frame. So this is how you could basically go ahead and create a data frame in Python. So also you could go ahead and extract values from a file and convert it into a data frame, and we are actually going to learn about that in the upcoming lectures. But this lecture was a brief overview and introduction about how to create a data frame and what a data frame actually is. So if you could notice here, there are actually two indexes for a particular data over here. So we basically have the row index, which is this one over here, which is 0, 1 and 2, and we also have the column index, which is in this case is age, name and salary. So that's it for this lecture, and in the next lecture what we will do is that we will learn how to go ahead and change the column sequence in this particular data frame. So as you could see right now, even though we have specified name as the first column, age as the second column and salary as the third column, these are actually arranged alphabetically. So as A is the first alphabet, we have age as the first column, then we have name, and then we have salary. So in the next lecture we will learn how we could go ahead and rearrange them, and in the upcoming lectures we will learn about more operations related to this particular data frame. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.